Is it on? Okay, well, that was funny. Uh, anyways, hey, welcome, guys. You made it. It is week 4. And so, I mean, congratulations on that one. And so, hey, thank you for spending the time with me on this video. I want to pack as much information that's useful, insightful, and actionable. Because you know what, you made it to week 4, and definitely congratulations on that one. You've gone through all the weeks, but I want to make sure that this is useful and actionable information so you guys can continue to move forward. Because my role here is just to educate you, to encourage you, and to empower you to make sure that you never get stuck again, because that's why oftentimes people join us in this pound for pound challenge in the first place. And so congratulations on that. I'm hoping that you are empowered at the end of this to recognize your own awesomeness so that you can go ahead and share that with the rest of us. But if anything, before we move forward, right, what do you say we review how far we've come so far? All right. So let's say in week 1, right, we introduced the idea of the elephant and the elephant rider, right? And we also said some action steps. I mean, obviously, if you have the meal plans that are individualized for you, then beautiful, do that. But we said to at least commit to choosing one and losing one, right? And to find 2 allies that are on your side that you can share with, that you can ask specifically for how they can help you, right? And so the question is, did you do it? Did you not do it? Why? Right? And then week 2, that was detox week, using Usana's reset. And one of the big things is in this detox week, right? Did you follow through with it? Did you not? Right? And if that's the case, why? Did you ask for help? If not, why? Right? Now, week 3, we said, hey, congratulations, you made it through the detox week. However it was for you, you made it through. Week 3, what we asked you for is to choose another one, lose another one, in terms of your good habits and bad habits that you're trying to drop and also gain, and then also find 2 more allies. So at this point, okay, at the end of week 3, entering into week 4, you should be with 2 chooses of good habits, 2 loses of not good habits, and you should have 4 allies on your side. And with these new insights that you've gained in terms of where your elephant shows up, how to help you so that you can succeed, because we all need that tribe to help us succeed, right? And that's why we usually recommend doing this in pairs as friends and all that kind of stuff, because you guys, when you have someone that's got your back, it does help. And so the reason that I wanted to review this, guys, is because it's very, very important that we understand that we can only learn things and we can only really understand things when we gain the experience, right? And so experience is gained and learned in hindsight. And so we can really only learn anything after doing something and succeeding or not, and looking back and seeing why, right? That's the only way we can figure it out. And my role is to make sure that if you guys succeeded, right, and something's working out really, really well for you, why? So that you can repeat that consistently so you can get everything you want. And if, let's say, you misstepped, you made a mistake, right? Why? So that you never have to repeat that mistake again, because if you don't learn the lesson, you will repeat it. And that is the elephant. Like I said, it's unavoidable. We all got it. But if you understand it, then you can do something about it, right? Now, understand in the last 3 weeks, I'm sure there's been like a lot of emotional turmoil right there if you've chosen the challenging choose one and the challenging lose one in that 3rd week, and also obviously in the detox week. Some of you guys breezed right through it. Some of you guys had to choose a higher level of choose one and lose one, right? But the big thing that we want to make sure happens for you is that you're always able to make progress. So check this out. Oftentimes when people succeed or don't succeed, and why don't we go into not succeeding first, okay? Oftentimes when people make a mistake, sometimes people might have the feeling of, poor me, oh my God, I'm terrible, I have no willpower, or oh my goodness, I just suck at this, this is just not for me. That's like the worst thing ever, right there, to give up on your dream. And that's one role, and understand that our success or failure, there's some people that have had the same exact meal plan almost, because they're just in the same place in their fitness journey, right? And we've individualized it, but they've had like almost the same, just because that's where they're at. But the story that the person tells themselves in their head, that's quite literally the difference between success and failure. right? And this is all across the board. And so check this out. So if a person has that story of, oh my God, I'm terrible at this, I'm terrible at this, or this is how I grew up, or let's say, let's go into the blame route. Oh my God, if my coworker didn't bring this, or if my boss just did this, if they let us out on time, or if my husband did this, if my wife did that, if my kids weren't doing this, or they were doing that, right? And if traffic wasn't like this, it's the blame game. Right? And then there's another one where instead of facing those inner demons, then this reflection time that I'm asking you guys to take, right? We might get distracted by Facebook feed, or we might get distracted by TV. In fact, you might be distracted looking at something else while you're watching this video right now. Are you? And so the big thing is it's a way of not facing the things that we don't want to face. And so it's another version of running away by saying that we're busy. Are you busy or are you productive? Those are two different things. Does that make sense? And so you want to make sure that you're moving forward, all right? Productive is moving forward. Busy means there's just always that Hydra to-do list where you check off one, two more tasks takes its place, like that, you know? And that's just how to-do lists go. But we want to make sure that that's the defeated role, right? And it actually leads into something called the DDT, the dreaded drama triangle. And if you guys haven't heard of that, it's actually the dreaded trauma triangle. It talks about exactly those things, about people that have told themselves a certain story, they take a different role. Now, these different roles are the victim, they're the persecutor, and they're the hero or the rescuer, right? Now, if you check this out, the DDT, oddly enough, just like the poison, this is what makes our life worse, okay? Because if a person faces a situation, right, and they take victimhood, or, oh my goodness, I'm like this, or I suck, or this and that, or I'm just terrible, that's victimhood, and that's not going to move us forward, right? And then if someone takes the persecutor role, understand that the persecutor role, they blame someone else for the situation that they're in, and it might not be a person, it might be a situation, right? Just to kind of, just be real with this, I've been all three of these, all right? And I think we all have. And then the hero can, it's a rescuer, and it can take the place of either a person or a situation, again, just like the persecutor. A hero, it's the person, it could be the person where we're kind of trained in our culture to, how about this? When the city's in trouble, who saves the day? Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, right? When the princess is trapped in the castle right there and there's a dragon outside, who saves them? The prince on a white stallion. Now let's go ahead and put it into something realistic, right? Man, if only like the president changed. Man, if only the Democrats were in power. If only the Republicans were in power. Man, if only taxes were different. Oh man, if only, this happened for me. If only someone conveniently brought vegetables for us to work. Right there. If only someone else solved my situation for me. Right? And some of us, we might find that hero looking for someone else, or we might, again, the hero could also be a form of distraction. It could be YouTube, it could be Facebook, it could be other things that make us not want to face our situation by getting some kind of temporary relief. Now, the key word is temporary, because it's not a permanent solution. We still have to face the truth as soon as we get off our Facebook feed or we get off that YouTube scroll. Right? And so understand, this hero is sometimes we play this role where we actually want to save someone else, right? The reason that I'm not succeeding, and we're blaming at this point, is because I have to take care of my family member, or I have to take care of my coworker, and they're not following through with their part, so I have to save them. And understand, if a person is doing victim, saying poor me, and we go to save them, understand that we are not empowering them. We are disempowering them by not acknowledging them as smart enough or strong enough to resolve the situation themselves. And this is going to be a tough lesson to learn. And this is one I had to learn too. Someone once told me this, right? And it said that a hero, basically someone that needs to save a person, it's basically saying, I'm better than you. I am smarter than you. You are too dumb. You are not strong enough to solve your own situation. So you need me to save you. So the hero is actually, it's a form of ego. You know what I mean? And so it's a very tough pill to swallow. Now, like I said, I've been in all these situations, right? And so understand that there's a different triangle that actually empowers us versus disempowering us. But I want you to notice if you've made mistakes or if you've beat yourself up or if things haven't worked out for you in the way that you wanted to, and you didn't learn a lesson and instead you're like, oh, just frustrated by it. Understand frustration usually comes when we're playing one of these three roles. You know? And so I'll go back into how I got into fitness in the first place, right? Because this is a tough situation, right? Understand that when I first got into fitness, it was actually through a car accident. Right there, I actually didn't know anything about health. I was a student at Cal Poly Pomona. I was supposed to be a civil engineer. I was going to build bridges, right? And what ended up happening is I actually got into a car accident where my car flipped over and I was in bed for about 9 months. Now I went to 4 different specialists and different, surgeons and all that kind of stuff. And they basically said, you're going to have the back of a 60-year-old for the rest of your life. I was 20 years old. This is back in March of 2006. And so understand that in that situation, I was being very victim. Okay, poor me, poor me. I was like super depressed. Just to be real about it, I didn't know what it was at the time, but I was actually depressed because I didn't want to go out. I shut myself down. I didn't have the energy to just get out of bed. I didn't want to wake up in the morning because I knew if I woke up, I'd go to sleep in even more pain than how I woke up. Physical therapy wasn't working for me. There was a lot of things not working for me. But luckily, someone introduced me actually to USANA. So those of you guys on the reset, I was actually introduced to USANA. I didn't know anything about health. And it was the vitamins just because people that it works for everyone, but people that notice a difference, they're either really sick or they're in pain or they're already like an athlete anyone that understands their body and is in tune with their body on the good side or the bad side. I was on the bad side. So I could feel the difference right away. And then what happened is as I felt the difference, I started to be able to not have to be stuck in bed. And then from there, I started, I wonder if I clean up my diet and stop eating Coke and Cheetos every single day. I wonder if that'll make a difference. And so I did. And so who knew when you start supplementing and taking and eating vegetables and stuff like that, you feel better. I was introduced to a chiropractor. He was the one that was like, dude, you're really messed up, and working with him. And he introduced me to exercise. I actually didn't know anything about it. He introduced me to exercise and kind of building up with that supplementation, the good food, the exercise and the chiropractic, just kind of like work all of that, like stacking up and just kind of building on itself. That's how I improved my body to the point where I started to outperform some of my friends. And they were like, hey, weren't you like really bad like a couple years ago? Yeah, thanks for noticing, but what changed for me though, is when I went from blaming others and waiting for someone to fix me and waiting for someone to help me and solve my situation for me and saying, poor me. It was when I said, you know what? I'm in the worst situation of my life. There's nothing else I can do. I've hit rock bottom. There's nothing more. The rest, the next level is being in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I was walking with a cane at 20 years old. And so it's a very painful experience, but I share that with you to say that I understand this very intimately. But when things changed for me, it was when I moved on to something called the empowerment dynamic, or TED. It's the same exact triangle, but we take 3 different roles. And these 3 different roles, instead of a victim, I'm a creator. A victim says, life happens to me. A creator says, life happens for me. A victim says, I'm not responsible for this. How could God, you do this to me? And I was there too. A creator says, you know what? I may not have caused this situation, but it's my responsibility to do something about it. That's a creator. Does this make sense? And at the same time, instead of persecutor that says, it's their fault, a challenger says, I believe you can do this. A challenger says, here's an extra challenge for you. Here's some extra, and let's put the workout side to it. Here's some extra dumbbells. So you can grow and get stronger from this extra pressure. You will be stronger because I'm placing this extra pressure on you. A challenge is there to make us better. A challenge is there to teach us a lesson. And when I started seeing things instead of blaming the situation, but looking at it as a challenge and something where, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I gain from this? How can I get better from this? I was supposed to be a civil engineer. I'm good at math, but I'll be honest, you guys probably get this by now. My personality, I think my head would explode sitting at a desk for like 8 hours a day for like the next 40 years. Like that's just me. I need to move, right? And so the thing is I would not be doing anything that I'm currently doing if I did not have that car accident as a challenge for me. Now, so the question is my car accident a good thing or a bad thing? I'm able to pursue my life's work of helping people get unstuck. But the only way I can understand it intimately is by being stuck. Does that make sense? And so the next thing is, guys, instead of taking the role of rescuer and taking the role of trying to have someone else fix me or looking for a distraction, I'm looking for a coach. I'm looking for help. I'm asking for help. That's why when I'm stuck and I have a 10-second rule, if I can't figure it out in 10 seconds, I ask for help, whether it be Google and I email them like, hey, Google, how do you do this Google Hangout thing? It could be anything that has to do with work. It could be anything that has to do with fitness. I ask a ton of questions, and that's why I'm surprised at how much some of you guys are asking questions. I love it. And how little some of you guys are asking questions. Because understand that the only way we can learn is by facing things and then asking for help instead of trying to be stuck and figuring it out ourselves and feeling bad about it. And so my challenge for you guys this week is just to understand now you could probably agree with this. Tell me like if you agree or not. You can comment on it later and we'll find out. But we've probably all of us, like as human beings, been all 6 of these roles. We've been the victim, we've been the persecutor, the blamer, we've been the rescuer, either trying to be rescued or wanting to rescue someone else. We've also probably stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, I'm going to solve this situation. It's on me, I'm going to do it. We've all probably faced that, right? As adults that are functional, right? And at the same time, a challenger is like, you know what, I can grow from this. I can get better from this. This thing that's hard, I can use as a building block for me to raise me to a higher level, to see taller, right? To see more. And then a coach, we've all asked for help. The fact that you guys are on this video, and that's why I give you guys credit, is that you've asked for help. And I do appreciate that. And so it's very, very important to understand that if you've had some trouble during this process of the last 3 weeks, right? Entering into week 4, you're probably going to have you're probably going to have to face those things a lot more, because guess what? Have you ever heard the term to go to higher levels, you have to face deeper devils? Right? And so we're going to have to face the parts of ourselves that we don't like. But at the same time, when we face them and when we overcome them, guess what? We're able to understand ourselves and in certain situations and how to create certain situations. And so we can always be in control of everything that happens, maybe not around us, but at least in us. And that's the cool part. And so here's going to go ahead and be your challenge for the week, guys. Is kind of look, where was I a victim and how could I become a creator? And again, it's really a matter of taking responsibility for your situation, maybe not causing it, but at least resolving it. And so a creator says, I can figure this out, right? A victim says, poor me, right? And so just kind of recognize that. And just like a creator says, what can I do? Right? In a positive way, like a genuine question. And then a victim says, what can I do? What can I do? All right, so you know what I mean? And so just kind of understand the difference. A persecutor, they blame others, right there. This is happening to me. It's their fault. No. This is happening. The challenger says, this is happening for me. What's the lesson? Why is this here to help me grow? What is the lesson I'm supposed to learn and how can I get better from it? That's the challenger, guys. And then the coach, and sometimes the coach, guys, it takes a lot of courage to ask for help and admit that we don't know something, to not only look for a coach, but also to be a coach, because sometimes we might not have what we want because we're saying yes to others, but we're saying no to ourselves because we're trying to save other people. But understand, and this is something I had to learn too, when we're trying to save other people, and this is why I ask questions now. Because once I figured out how to solve my own problems, I'm like, oh my God, people should know this. People should know this, right? And I was always trying to help and solve other people's problems, right? But if you've ever experienced this, and you probably have you ever given advice to someone and they did nothing with it? it was a waste of my time. It was a waste of their time. It was a waste of my gifts and my effort and my energy. And it was also a waste of theirs too, for even taking the time to listen to me, because they didn't want it in the first place. So now let's say looking at this coach, right? Now this coach, it's someone that says like, and I got this question earlier when I was explaining this to some others, right? And a very simple question is, well, I don't know how to go from trying to be the hero and helping everybody. I don't know how to go from being a hero to a coach. Like, how do I do that? And I said, I have an idea. Do you want to know how? And she said, yes. I said it was a sheep. Oops. And I said, ask them that question. I have an idea. Do you want to know how to get out of your situation? Right? Because a coach's role, we can help others, but we just can't do it for others. It's very simple as like, I can give you this video, but I can't eat the broccoli for you. You know what I mean? It's so I can't follow you all the time, because that's going to disempower you. You know, me hovering over you like you're a child. That's not, we're all adults here. And we can all handle this. And so when it comes to being a coach, it's exactly that. Because some people, they talk about their problems in order to get temporary relief, kind of like a distraction on Facebook, so that they get temporary relief just letting off steam. They're not actually looking for a solution to solve it. And so when we solve their situation for them, it just kind of is that perpetual circle of doom, where they're never out of the situation. They always have drama and nothing's going to be resolved. But if we coach them and say, hey, I have an idea. Do you want to resolve that? Right? And if they say yes, here's how you know if it's really a yes or not. Give them your idea, right? We're all smart, right? Give them your idea and you're going to get one of two answers. Oh, I never thought of that. Okay, I'll try it. Second answer. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. If they reject your idea before even trying it, then understand that that person was not looking for a solution in the first place. Okay, so don't judge them, just recognize them, know what category to put them in, so you don't have to put your energy there. You know what I mean? So hopefully this helps, guys. Now, here's the challenge for the week. You should have 4 allies that you've told them how to help you. You've told them how they can coach you, right? And also challenge you, right? Right there, so that you can create your own life, right? You're choosing 2, you're losing 2. One of them might be easy, one of them might be hard on both sides. Now, here's the challenge for this week, is to go ahead and get those 4 allies together, or at least 2 of them, and teach them something that you've learned in the last 3 weeks. Teach them something that you've learned that has helped you, that you feel can help them, right? But first ask them, hey, do you want to drop weight? Hey, do you want to know something that can help you get healthier? Hey, do you want to know something that's really easy that can help you solve that problem? Yeah, sure. Teach them how to bake an easy meal. Some of you guys have come to our meal preps. Teach them the simple art of choose one, lose one. Challenge them to that. Make a bet, $5. Something super simple, right? So your challenge, guys, is to, with your allies, act as an ally that supports them. Because if you ever heard of it, guys, the person that learns math the best is the one that is the math tutor. Because they drill in the lessons, guys, and you're going to gather new insights, because you're going to have to form your own language so another person can understand. And so it's going to be the true test if you actually understand it or not. And so that's the challenge, guys. And here's going to be the fun part. If you actually do this challenge, guys, okay, now this is a coaching challenge, so whether you do it or not, again, that's up to you right there, but I challenge you to do it. I'm expecting you to do it. Go ahead and hashtag, post it on, take a picture with the person, right? Hashtag do more awesome, and then tag either me or tag Vicky so that we know that it's done. And we'll go ahead and give you guys a free Rev 3K. All right, just because we want to have some fun and we know that you guys could use a little boost because it's really, really cool. So clean energy, it's all good. But anyways, guys, I hope that this helps. I hope you found it educational, empowering, and I hope you found it encouraging, guys, because wherever you are, you can choose to take a different role immediately. So having said that, guys, I hope you have a great, great, great time. I'm looking forward to all your success. And if anything, next time, I'll be seeing you on week 5. Take care.